Hey guys, Bryce here from Nautical T4R. Today we're going to be plasti dipping the silver pieces on the front bumper and back bumper of the 5th gen 4runner we have. The original ones are a silver, which granted do look nice, but I would rather them be black if they had the black pieces. So I've seen this done a bunch of different times on YouTube. Seen people go and tape it off and paint it. They've either rhino lined it or they plasti dipped it. Today we're going to plasti dip it. Hopefully all the tutorials I've watched have made me an expert on doing all of this for the plasti dip on the bumpers. The first step you need to do whenever you're doing this is go ahead and wash the car, which we have already done. After that, we're going to go ahead and take off the license plate cover, and then we're going to clean it just a little bit more with either like a glass cleaner or an all-purpose cleaner, just to make sure you have all the contaminants and all the bad stuff off of that before you start spraying down the plasti dip. Once we go ahead and do that, then we'll go ahead and start spraying on. We'll tape everything off, and then we can go ahead and start throwing the paint on the bumpers. Awesome. You guys can see that I was using a sponge that I got from the kitchen sink. It's not too abrasive with the scouring portion of it. Just trying to get all the different dirts and extra bug guts and whatnot are on there to make sure I get those off before I go ahead and lay down all the plasti dip. So just make sure you scrub it off really good and then dry it really good before we go and tape it down. So when you guys are going and doing this on your 4runners, whenever you have any kind of big scratches or dings or any kind of rock chips or anything like that, you want to make sure that you try to either get them smooth or try to make sure that they're not too deep to where it's not going to affect the way that you're going to lay out the plasti dip whenever you go ahead and spray it on. Like on this one right here, you guys can see that I got a little bit of a pretty big chip in there. I don't think it's going to affect it too much. I'm not super concerned with it. Got a little bit of sandpaper and stuff, knocked it down just a little bit. But anything really big like that, you're going to want to kind of address before you go ahead and throw it on there. Or if you just kind of want to go with it and don't really mind it, then go ahead and be my guest. So we got this thing cleaned up. It's pretty dry. We're going to go ahead and start taping it up right now, and then we're going to go ahead and start laying on the plasti dip. Alright, now that we got everything taped off and we got a plastic covering in that I reused from one of our household paint opportunities, we went ahead and taped everything off. I didn't tape up to the silver part. I left a little bit of space back behind it so you can still see the blue on the 4runner. Hopefully if you put enough coats on of the Plasti dip, when you go to peel it off, it should essentially keep that line. I will use a razor blade as well, just to make sure we keep that line in there, just to make sure we don't have any overspray on the vehicle or on any parts that we don't necessarily want the Plasti dip on. I have 4 cans of the Plasti dip that I got. Should take usually 4 or 5 coats per bumper, and we're going to go ahead and use maybe at least 1 to 2 cans per front and back on the bumpers. So we'll go ahead and see where we stand from there. Go ahead and use that one. I picked these up from Home Depot. Fairly inexpensive, they're like $5-6 bucks. You guys can go ahead and get a couple cans from that one. You can get the multitude of different colors that they have for Plasti dip. I went with the satin black just because that's the way I like the way it looks. We're going to go ahead and start laying the first coat down now, and hopefully we will have enough cans for it. Let's go. Alright guys, first coat's on. It looks a little kind of splotchy, little light. I just wanted to kind of get the first coat on there, see how it was going to take. Some parts are a little heavier than other parts, just to make sure you kind of get it evenly as you're doing it. I opted to get this little hand thing just to make sure it's a little easier to spray on there than having to hold the can at awkward angles. You can go ahead and pick one of those up from Home Depot as well, wherever you guys get your paint. I'm going to go ahead and let this sit for about 5-6 minutes or so, and then we'll go ahead and go on with the second coat. Alright guys, so here is the front of it. I went ahead and already did 5 coats on the front of this one. I left the tape on just to let it sit and dry and try to get it cured a little bit better. Once it fully dries, I'm going to go ahead and take everything off of it, and we'll get it peeled up, make sure everything's all good to go. There's no kind of imperfections or whatnot in it. In the meantime, I went ahead and turned the truck around, and then we're going to go ahead and get started on the back and start spraying that one down with the Plasti dip. Not going to cover too much on that one just because it's the same process. Clean it up, tape it off, make sure we are going to cover the truck so we don't get any overspray, and then do another 5 coats on that one, and then at the very end of it we'll go ahead and do the reveal, and we'll show you guys what it all looks like in the very end. Alright guys, so now we switch the truck around to the back side of it. We're going to go ahead, I already cleaned, taped, and covered all the areas that I needed to cover. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and start laying the first coat of the Plasti dip, and again I'm going to do about 5 coats of this. We'll go ahead and let it cure, let it sit and dry, and then we'll go back and we'll uncover the front, and hopefully we'll uncover the rear as well, and you guys can see what the end product looks like. Alright guys, so that was coat number 5 of the rear bumper for the Plasti dip. We're going to go ahead and let this dry, and once we get it good and dry, we'll go ahead and untape this one and the front. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so now it's time for the end product. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off the plastic and the painter's tape, and we're going to peel off the Plasti dip that is the excess on top of the car itself, and hopefully it'll leave whatever is on the piece that we painted on there. If not, if it starts to peel it up, use a toothpick, go ahead and poke some holes in it just so it kind of loosens it up, and then we can just peel it away and go from there. So we're going to go ahead and peel it off, make sure we're good to go. So you guys can see, if you put enough paint, if you put enough the Plasti dip on there, it starts to create that film, and you can bring that film out and it'll just peel away. And it'll break that edge right there on the part you painted, and it won't peel it off. You just take your time, nice and slow. You guys can see how when I'm pulling it away that it's pulling away on that edge right there. So it won't actually go and pull off that part that you painted and ruin your plasti dip that you just put on there. Awesome. You guys have that clean line right there that you see? Get the clean line right there to make sure it's all good. If there's any paint that's on here, you can just use your hand and kind of scrape off whatever kind of overspray may be on there, or even take a toothpick or something kind of soft and just kind of scrape it up on there. Don't want to damage your paint too much, but if you have a good enough amount of coats, you should be able just to peel it up, and all you're gonna be left with is just the part that you painted that has all the plasti dip on it. Everything else should peel just right up. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna continue on peeling off all the rest of it, and then we'll show you guys the end product.
Ooh, much wow, such amazing, so much cool. Black stuff on the gray stuff.
Here it is, guys, all done. We got all of the tape taken off of the front end of it. Looks really good, looks really clean. There are little imperfections in there. Of course, having dogs and being outside with the wind, you get a little bit of hair or whatever in it. Not too much of a concern. It does look pretty good though. I do like the fact that it has a good textured look to it. Hopefully when it's sitting in the sun, it'll help cure it just a little bit more. Maybe make it a little less sticky than what you need to have in there. Overall, I like the feel of it. I like the way it looks. Hopefully it holds up pretty well. And again, having it be plasti dip, if it does have any kind of damage or anything starts peeling up on it, either just peel it off and respray, or just spray over it and kind of get touch-ups on it. So that's it, guys. Hopefully you like this video. If you did, go ahead and hit the like down there, and make sure you can leave a comment and subscribe and share if you need to. Thanks a bunch.